Well, welcome to Thoughts Can Change Your Life with me, Reverend Lee. So here we are. And do you realize that we turn everything into life? And if you truly knew that you turn everything into life, and you were aware of that, what would you do differently? Who would you allow in your life? What things would you bring in? What things would you bring out? Think about this. Everything you drink, your body takes in and it converts it into your body. Everything you eat, your body takes in, and it's the building blocks from which you create your body. So think about that. If you're building an incredible body, a healthy body, what would you be feeding it? Great question. Would you be feeding it whole, unprocessed foods so that your body can take that great stuff and build from it? Or would you be feeding it processed foods, fast foods, and stuff like that? I'm not saying one's right or wrong. I'm just asking the question. If you knew that your body took in all the liquid it does, what kind of liquid would you feed it so that you could rehydrate your body so your body would function well? Good question. Think about the people you have in your life. The energy of the people you surround you have an influence on what you are taking their energy mixed with your energy, and you're turning that into a life experience. If you're in a toxic relationship, you're turning your life into a toxic experience, aren't you? So are you starting to get that everything you focus on, everything you bring into your life, creates your experience? Wow. Think about that. Think about if something's happening in the world or in your life around you and you're worrying about it, what are you doing? You're turning your body into stress, your mind into stress. And when you turn it into stress, what happens? A sense of disease, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, it's a sense of disease. So what's really amazing is we are incredibly powerful creators. We're creating 365, 24/7, 7 days a week. Every moment we're creating. The question is, what are you creating? And what are you feeding into your body, into your mind, that are generating a healthy body or a not healthy body, a balanced mind or an unbalanced mind? You see, when we talk about homeostasis, which doctors refer to, that when the body's in homeostasis, the immune system is working perfectly. Ergo, a virus can come in and the immune system will knock it out. It's when the immune system is not in a homeostasis that disease can enter in. And then we've got to fight that. And so you think about that and you think about, well, okay, what about relationships? This is where I think we have a great amount of challenge because we don't have relationships that love and support us, because our relationships that we have are a direct reflection of the relationship we have with ourselves. So when you break that down that way, then we've got to look at, okay, so what is our relationship with ourselves? Do we accept ourselves as we are, or are we constantly judging ourselves? I don't know. You have to answer that question. Why would you judge yourself? And then again, then the question becomes, against what standard are you judging yourself? Is it the standard against other people who have different values, who are completely unique and different from you? Or is it a standard that you've set an unrealistic expectation for yourself? And so you're judging yourself against an unrealistic expectation? Think about the idea that in life, everything is a journey and it's a step-by-step unfoldment in your journey. Well, if everything's a journey and it's a step-by-step unfoldment, then there's a natural process as we heal, as we build a better relationship, as we become wealthier, as we create great relationships. It's a step-by-step. To think that it's going to happen overnight is absolutely insanity. It's what's going to cause you to be depressed. Remember that all depression and anxiety is the result of unrealistic expectations, either set by yourself or set by others. You see how I work that in? It's your unreal expectations. And you know what's great about me saying your? It means that if we as individuals own what we feel, own what we're experiencing, own that we have the power to create it, we stop being victims. We simply change and become our authentic self, and we live that the best we possibly can. The best we possibly can. So give me some questions. Give me some feedback out there. Thank you, Chanel. Lee, if you would, answer a relationship question. What if my boyfriend comes from less wealthy family and he has to help them financially? Do I stop the relationship or should I lower the expectation? I don't know. That's the best answer. The question I have to ask you is, what do you expect? What is your view of how you would like your partner to be? That's a real thing. And is your partner supporting them and not supporting you? The interesting thing is that it's very, and I'm going to speak in generalities, Chanel, so know that I'm not speaking as spiritual truth. But what I know about men, and I've read this from psychologists in many, many ways, is that men have a very difficult time marrying up in social ladder, marrying up in wealth. They can marry an equal and they can marry maybe a step down, but they have a very difficult time marrying up. Women can marry equal and they tend to marry up. So I don't know if that gives anything. I've just not seen there are relationships that are contrary to that work. But the question is, because I don't know you and I don't know what you value the most, what are your top 5 values? I don't know what your boyfriend's top 5 values are. I don't know that if you don't know them and you haven't linked them, then I ask the question, what's the basis of your relationship? What is your relationship built on? What is the foundation that your relationship is built on? I don't know. I don't know. So there's so many things. Richard, you're so funny. He says, that's terrible news. I've been trying to level up in my next relationship. Well, Richard, I'm just going to tell you, you're the one who's got to level up. You get that? You're the one that's got to level up. Here's a key thing. I can share my experience. When Jean and I got married, we were pretty much from the same socioeconomic class. I would say my mother was probably a bit above in level of awareness than Jean's. And so we fit together, and then we moved our awareness up the social ladder. So I came from a poor middle class level, not a poor level, but the lower middle class level. And so as I lifted, Gene lifted, and together we've lifted. So we're nowhere near that now. We're probably upper middle or lower upper class based on socioeconomics. But it was a journey that we took together, we agreed on. I don't know what it would be like to support family the way you're talking about. I don't know. I don't know. I've never had to do that. Lori says, it's men are raised to be providers. Some feel like a failure if they're not able to take care of the family. It's old school, no question about that. And the world is changing so much. The world is so different than when I was growing up versus where you are, Chanel. I always knew that I would be a provider. But then at 54, I left the corporate world and I went and became a student for 3 years to get my master's degree and become a minister. And during that 3 years, my wife was the provider. She was the main breadwinner. And then as I've been in ministry until Jean retired in April, she was the main breadwinner. But the thing that I had done prior to my leaving the corporate world is I had ourselves debt free. I had our retirement already in place. So I had taken care of that. And I'll be very honest, Chanel, I had to really watch my ego because I could go down the rabbit hole and not like it. Because as Lori said, I was raised to be the provider and all of a sudden I wasn't. And then here's what I also learned. Being the provider doesn't necessarily mean money. It could be emotional support. It could be spiritual support. It could be a relationship that's balanced. So there are many ways to look at that. Chanel, thank you for bringing that up because guess what? We got to go on that journey together. Everyone listening got to go on that journey because you asked a question. This is what this gathering is about. It's not about, I start off, and if you give me stuff, I love to run with it. Now, Chanel, let me tell you, you've never asked a question before. Let me tell you, I don't know if I'm right. I have no idea if I'm right. I ask people, don't believe a word I say. Find out and prove it for yourself. Then you own it. I think Sundance, I think the class system is everywhere. It's not just in the UK or United States. I think it's everywhere in the world. The unfortunate thing is we're all equal, and yet we're all unique. So with that, I say to you, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, I accept you just like you are, which means I'm telling you that I love you because at Agape, we teach that love and acceptance are one and the same thing. Make it a great day. Until tomorrow, aloha.